Greetings and welcome to the video production of Pixel Pioneer, a prominent cartoon and gaming channel network, AI content creation, analytical article writer, videography, photographer. It possesses dynamic quality for writing good articles and standalone data-driven decision maker from the original sources of novels, books, historic documentary. All right, with that out of the way, welcome to this explainer. Today we're setting the stage for a truly fascinating journey right into the intersection of identity, linguistics, and art. We're going to explore how classic animation, specifically some incredibly iconic Soviet-era cartoons, can actually be used as a powerful, real-world tool to save a fading heritage language. It's really about how media preserves our cultural roots, and I cannot wait to share this with you.
Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine growing up surrounded by a rich, beautiful heritage language, right? Only to feel it slowly, almost invisibly, slipping through your fingers as you get older. This is a very real and honestly often painful struggle for a heritage speaker. As folks assimilate into a dominant culture, their ancestral language and the deep cultural identity tied directly to it, they begin to fade. It's a profound loss. We're not just talking about forgetting vocabulary here. It's literally losing a specific way of seeing the world. So the big question is, how do you bridge that widening gap? How do you rescue a fading language when standard grammar textbooks simply aren't enough to spark a real connection anymore?
To really anchor this explainer, let's look at a micro-narrative from a brilliant master's thesis out of Brigham Young University by Aaron Jordan. He actually documented the linguistic journey of his own son Thomas, who is a 12-year-old heritage speaker of Russian. Thomas had unfortunately reached a point where he actively avoided speaking his heritage language. He would just mumble inaudibly, feeling super self-conscious and disconnected. And as his father noted, and you can kind of see the emotional weight of this on the screen right now, it wasn't just about Thomas forgetting words. It was about a father genuinely wondering if his son was losing a fundamental piece of his own identity.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the precise linguistic breakdown of what was actually happening to Thomas and honestly so many others exactly like him. According to academic research, heritage speakers of Russian face very specific, data-driven challenges that look a lot different from someone just learning it as a second language in a classroom. They often struggle with mispronouncing palatalized consonants, especially right at the ends of words. They might totally jumble up verb tenses and aspects, make frequent noun case substitution errors, and display really inconsistent stress patterns compared to native speakers. They even start doing this thing where they borrow English categories of meaning and just sort of awkwardly apply them to Russian words. It's a really complex linguistic unraveling.
So what's the actual fix here? Well, for Thomas, the answer absolutely wasn't found in tedious grammar drills or endless stacks of flashcards. It was found in immersion. But, and this is a big but, not just any immersion. We're talking about immersion in authentic cultural artifacts. Because to truly revitalize a language, you have to completely reconnect the speaker with the soul of the culture itself. And in this specific case, that meant immersing Thomas in the incredibly rich, thoughtful, and highly authentic world of classic Soviet animation. To really understand why this works so well, we need to look at the stark contrast between these animation styles. Western animation, which, let's face it, most of us are completely used to, often relies on super fast-paced action, individual heroism, clear-cut morals, and frantic, snappy dialogue. But Soviet animation? It's a totally different ballgame. It prioritizes stillness over speed. It heavily emphasizes collectivism and teamwork over some individual glory. It relies on emotional restraint, often expressing these incredibly profound feelings through just a single glance or total silence. And, importantly, it fully embraces ambiguity. These cartoons uniquely teach the introspective and collective Russian mindset, which gives a heritage speaker a direct, unfiltered line straight to their cultural DNA.
Let's look at a prime example of this, the famous cartoon series Nu Pogodi, or Just You Wait. Now, on the surface, sure, it looks like a slapstick chase cartoon about a wolf trying to catch a hare, kind of similar to Tom and Jerry. But culturally, it represents so much more. It perfectly illustrates the Russian appreciation for cunning, for futility, and for absolute stubborn perseverance. The wolf is this crazed, chain-smoking predator, yet somehow he becomes a highly sympathetic anti-hero. He's just a screw-up trying to get by, It teaches heritage speakers about Russian humor, which often has this dark, ironic edge where perseverance is admired even in entirely hopeless causes.
And this brilliantly illustrates another absolute cornerstone of Russian animation, Cheburashka. This fuzzy, big-eared little creature was found in a crate of imported oranges and basically has no clear origin. Yet, Cheburashka teams up with a lonely crocodile named Gena to build a home for orphans. I mean, come on. He is an absolute symbol of compassion, empathy, and community. He represents a worldview built not on cutthroat competition or profit, but on pure kindness and building things together.
But here's the thing. These animations often carry incredibly deep, layered meanings. For instance, there's an ongoing, fascinating debate presented by scholars and lawmakers regarding Chibarashka. Now, we are looking at this purely through the lens of the source material here, which notes that some see Chibarashka and his arrival in a crate of Jaffa oranges as a profound metaphor for Zionism and Jewish identity in the USSR. Scholars like Maya Balakirsky-Katz argue that his confusing identity, part bear, part orange, constantly rejected from the zoo due to these amorphous social codes, actually mirrors the Soviet Jewish experience. It just perfectly showcases how these cartoons served as a canvas for incredibly complex cultural and social expressions.
Then, wow, we have the breathtaking Hedgehog in the Fog, created by Yuri Norstein back in 1975. Listen, this isn't just a cartoon, it is a quiet, stunningly metaphysical journey that beautifully reflects deep Russian values. It details a little hedgehog's allegorical walk through a dark, mysterious fog to find his friend, the bear cub, simply to drink tea and count the stars. Along the way, he encounters shadows, an eagle owl, a white horse, a catfish. It's a deep exploration of solitude, fear, wonder, and the embrace of the unknown, completely defying those fast-paced tropes of Western media we talked about earlier.
And the artistic impact of Norstein's work? It literally cannot be overstated. The Washington Post even noted he's considered by many to be the best animator of all time, period. In fact, Hedgehog in the Fog was voted the best animated film of all time at the 2003 Tokyo Animation Festival. And it's been heavily praised by animation absolute legends like Hayao Miyazaki. It is a masterpiece of world cinema, living right there in the Russian language.
So the crucial point is how all of this applies back to our heritage speaker, and really the role of animation in preserving cultural identity. We can metaphorically connect the hedgehog's journey and that thick, confusing fog directly to the heritage speaker's psychological struggle to reclaim their roots. Just like the hedgehog, a heritage speaker like Thomas is actively navigating the deep, disorienting confusion of a dual identity. The journey is scary, the path definitely isn't clear, but by bravely pushing forward through that cultural fog, they can eventually find the warmth, the comfort, and the clarity of their true heritage.
All right, moving from the philosophical to the practical, let's see how this builds into an actual usable curriculum. Because you can't just passively watch these things. There are exact, structured methods to turn these cartoons from simple entertainment into powerful language revitalization tools. It starts by watching with subtitles to bridge early comprehension gaps, while actively writing down those unique, poetic idioms. From there, learners actually compare native dubbing with the original Russian audio to catch tiny nuances in pronunciation. And ultimately, it leads to deep, meaningful discussions reflecting on those exact cultural themes we just explored together.
And you know what? It works. It really works. Concluding Thomas's micronarrative, the academic study showed an absolute triumph. By utilizing authentic input like these cartoons, alongside dedicated practice, Thomas's attitude completely shifted. He overcame his linguistic fog. He totally stopped mumbling, he began engaging with Russian media on his own time, and he proudly spoke his heritage language with his family again. The culture literally saved the language.
So, this brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with today. What cultural anchor could revitalize the lost parts of your own heritage? Because whether it's animation, literature, or music, the keys to our identity are so often just waiting for us in the art of our ancestors. Thank you for watching the video of Pixel Pioneer. Have a blessed day ahead and subscribe our channel to get more informative videos in future. We will give you all the best solutions of problems and consultations based on your opinions and suggestions. Please like the channel, share, and comment if you love this video, and inspire us for the future video creation.